Hello friends, welcome to Siddaganga IAS YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to discuss about November first week current affairs. So if you want to have the PDF of this file, so just go on to the description and you can download this PPT or PDF. Okay, come let us delve into the topics. What are the topics are there in this current affairs of first week? So we are divided into three parts. So first part will be uploaded on Monday, second part will be uploaded on Wednesday, and third part will be uploaded on Friday. Okay. So in this video, we're going to discuss about geography, science, technology, and environment. What all the topics are there in these topics? So we're going to delve into this. The first thing is coronal holes. You can see the topics we're going to cover in this. The first thing is coronal holes. Next, IVRI calls for ban on aceclofenac cattle, whales, and microplastic. Climate Policy Fact Book by Bloomberg, and UNESCO finds that some iconic World Heritage glaciers will gonna disappear by 2050. Fighting climate change, the Paris Agreement. So hyperscale data centers. So how these data centers are and where it has been located. Okay. Then UNEP Adoption Gap Report 2022. Overall magnetometer. New species found in Indian black honeybee. So SpaceX Falcon heavy rocket. State of the global climate in 2022. So these are the topics we're going to discuss in this video. So come let us see like what are the topics and like how it will be so like useful for your UPSC preparation. Now aceclofenac. Okay, what is this aceclofenac? First thing comes to our mind is, so we have heard about diclofenac. What is this aceclofenac? Yes. So it is similar to diclofenac. You might have taken a pain drug, right? Like when you're fallen somewhere else, okay, and doctor may suggested to take diclofenac, the same thing. Okay, so what is this aceclofenac means? IVRI, Indian Veterinary Research Institute, demands ban on this chemical use in cattle. Okay, so before this diclofenac used to be injected for domestic cattle, so later this diclofenac has been banned in India, so that's the reason. So they are using aceclofenac for this water buffaloes also. Later what happened, like people started researching on it. So then this aceclofenac, once injected into water buffalo, it will be changed into diclofenac and it will gonna affect the vultures, which will gonna feed on the carcasses of water buffalo. So this is what they are saying in this. Okay, so if you want to see this, so why aceclofenac converts into diclofenac after it was injected into water buffaloes? Okay, this is what we said. And so what? Because vulture population in India is rapidly deteriorated. So previously it was 4 crore, now it has been reduced to less than 1 lakh. Okay, this threatens vulture who consume carcasses of this cattle for survival. Carcasses means a dead body. Okay, after a dead body, so the waste will be there, right? So that is called as carcasses. So you can see it over here. So this diclofenac has been introduced in 1991. So animals were given injected doses of this drug. Then vultures which scavenged on carcasses on animals threatened with diclofenac. So this is what they are saying. So vanish of vultures, how it has been rapidly decreasing. You can see it over here. So this is not so important, but like what I can see is like if someone is writing UPSC mains at that point of time. So if this question has been arrived in environment topic that time, so you can mention this data, how it has been decreasing and how it has been creating a ruckus for other creatures on the earth. Next topic is whales and microplastic. So blue whales, fin whales, and humpback whales used to be in news every now and then. Okay, so we used to read about these blue whales, fin whales, all these things because so like people used to see this whenever they go for fishing and all these things. Okay, like which is the biggest mammal means largest mammal, that is blue whale. Okay, which is the largest mammal means so blue whale. But we are talking something about baleen whales. What is this baleen whales? These are filter feeders. This microplastic is affecting more for these baleen whales. The reason is it doesn't have a long teeth. Okay, it doesn't have a long teeth. You can see it over here how this baleen whales has been created. So it doesn't have teeth, big teeth like other whales. So it used to swallow the microplastic and it will going to affect more for this baleen whales. So this is what they are saying. So you can see it over here how it will gonna swallow and like how it will gonna affect this baleen whales. So how this microplastic enters? Microplastic enters through industrial activities, plastic littering. So we didn't notice. Okay, like whenever we go for a beach to a Goa, we used to make a brush and we used to throw our toothbrush over there. So this was a minute thing for us, okay, because the beach was very big and we're not going to notice that. So what will going to happen with this toothbrush? But it will going to affect more for these sea animals, okay. Then fishing activities, whenever there is a fishing activities, at that point of time, this microplastics can be consumed by fish. This fish has been fed by seabirds, okay, then aquatic life. So definitely it will going to affect the marine life. So where do the ocean's microplastics come from? Like this is the question which may appear for prelims. So they may give 4 or 5 options and they will going to ask you to arrange in ascending and descending order. At that point of time, you have to know about this. The major microplastic come from synthetic textiles. Synthetic textiles, apart from that, car tires and city dust, so road markings, then marine coatings. So marine coatings means for ship, they use it to paint, right? So that is called as marine coatings, personal care products, as well as plastic pellets. So these are the things, okay, where microplastic entered into marine creatures. Next topic is climate policy, fact book by Bloomberg NEF and Bloomberg Philanthropies. What is this topic? So G20 members are giving a lot of subsidies. So for these fossil fuels, what is this subsidies for? So you might have heard about PAL scheme by Indian government. They used to provide these LPGs for rural areas so that it can reduce the fossil fuels and wood burning, all these things, so that it will gonna reduce the greenhouse gases and all these things. So this is what the main intentions of these subsidies. So coal share of G20 fossil fuel support is slowly declining. So it fell to 2.9% in 2021 from 4.1% in 2016. Okay, this is what they are saying. The recent G20 conference and COP26 pledged to phase out this fuel. Okay, and China is contributing more. That is what they are saying. But compared to the per capita of fossil fuel they are using, so it is very less. So that is what they are saying in this article. So this will gonna leave behind the countries like Saudi Arabia, Argentina, and Canada, where per capita income of fossil fuel subsidy is concerned. So compared to this country, whatever the China is giving, it's very less. So this is what they are saying. In 2020, Canada more than doubled its support for fossil fuels. The United States fossil fuel subsidies increased by 57% by 2020. So this is what they are saying, and like you have to compare with India. So whether it has been increasing or decreasing. So if you know that, definitely you can write a very good answer in mains. Okay, next is UNESCO finds that some iconic World Heritage glaciers will disappear by 2050. UNESCO, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO Heritage Site. You might have heard about UNESCO Heritage Sites so many times while preparing for prelims, right? So what they are saying, some glaciers will gonna disappear. So will this question be asked in the competitive exams? Yes. How? So they are gonna ask you to the map. So they may ask Yosemite National Park, where it has been located in which country? Okay, Yellowstone National Park, so has been located in which country? This is how they are gonna ask for like competitive exams for UPSC, KPSC, and all other state PSC exams. At that point of time, you must have an awareness that where these glaciers has been located. Why? Because these questions will be repeated again and again in prelims. Okay, you may see it over here. Findings of UNESCO survey, a survey of 18,600 glaciers at 50 World Heritage Sites found that the glaciers at 1/3 of these sites will perish because of global warming. Okay, Africa, glaciers in all World Heritage Sites in Africa will very likely to gone by 2050, including Kilimanjaro. You might have heard about Kilimanjaro, okay? Kilimanjaro National Park and Mount Kenya. So what you have to do, you have to take out the atlas and you have to mark, so where this Kilimanjaro has been located, where this Mount Kenya has been located, in which part of Kenya. All these things you have to make a note in the atlas. Next, Asia. The glaciers are 3 parallel rivers of Yunnan. Okay, Yunnan protected areas in China. Highest mass loss relative to 2000, that is 57.2%, and also the fastest melting glaciers on the list. Okay, this is the fastest melting glaciers on the list. So what you can observe is China has been not reducing the global warming, okay, emitting the greenhouse gases. So obviously global warming has been increasing in China. So that's the reason these glaciers are melting. So this is what you have to understand. So next, Europe. So in Europe, they have mentioned a few of the glaciers. We're going to see to it. Glaciers in Pyrenees, Mont Perdu. So where it has been located, France as well as Spain, very likely to disappear by 2050. And glaciers in the Dolomites. Dolomites is located in Italy. This is very important. Glaciers in Los Alqueires, okay, national park, where it has been located, Argentina. They're not going to search this, okay, from the map, and they're not going to give the question for you. So if it has been appeared in the newspaper, you have to go through it, okay. So the questions will going to arise from year itself. Next, glaciers in US Grand National Park. So this has been located in Peru. Next, glaciers in Yellowstone National Park. See, this is what we are talking about. Yellowstone National Park has been located in United States of America. Glaciers in Yosemite National Park. So this has also been located in United States of America. Glaciers in Waterton Glacier International Peace Park. So this has been located in Canada, okay, and United States of America. So this is what you have to learn for prelims perspective in this. Okay, next is fighting climate changes for the Paris Agreement. Okay, this will be there in the news every now and then. Paris Agreement. So since from old days, since it started from 2015. Okay, so till today in 2022, this Paris Agreement is in news. So this like environment topic is very important, because for prelims, especially those who are preparing for UPSC, the reason is like even IFOS, the people who are preparing for IFOS, Indian Forest Service, they have a common prelims, right? Both for IAS as well as IFOS. At that point of time, environment plays a very major role, and most of the questions will gonna come from environment side. So that's the reason Paris Agreement is very important, because so many outcomes are there in Paris Agreement. So you can see it over here. So what is there in Paris Agreement is a legally binding. Whether it is a legal binding, yes, it is legally binding. So there were so many agreements like this, those who are not legally binding, but Paris Agreement has made as legally binding international treaty on climate change. It was adopted by 196 countries. Everyone are following it? No. Okay. So in 21 in Paris, 12 December 2015, has entered into force on 4th November 2016. So that's what I said. So it started in 2015, till date it is in news. Next, its goal is to limit global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius. Okay, so they asked below 2 degrees Celsius, preferably 1.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, compared to pre-industrial levels. Whether it is like that, no, it has been increased to 2.8% right now. Okay, 2.8 degrees Celsius. To achieve this long-term temperature goal, countries aim to reach global peaking of greenhouse gas emission as soon as possible to achieve climate neutral world by mid-century. This is what they are saying. Why Paris climate deal is important? Why it is important? The Paris Agreement is a landmark in the multilateral climate change process, because for the first time, a binding agreement brings all nations to a common cause to undertake ambitious effort to adopt this climate change. Okay, so everyone has agreed, yes, this is the time. So we have to reduce the global greenhouse gases, and we have to reduce the global warming, and they have adopted some like climate adoption techniques. So we're going to see about it, what is adoption and mitigation, in the coming slides. Next is, how does the Paris Agreement work? So 5-year cycle. Okay, if you take the 5-year cycle, so since from 2015 to 2020, so what all the things worked, we're gonna see to it, because so many countries will gonna give an explanation that after 2020 there was a corona, so that's the reason we couldn't give 100%. So we're gonna see till 2020 what other countries has been adopted. The Paris Agreement works on 5-year cycle of increasingly ambitious climate action carried out by countries. By 2020, countries submit their plans for climate action known as nationally determined contributions. This is very important, NDCs. So whether United Nations will give the target for NDCs, nationally determined contributions, no. Or UNEP will gonna give this, no. These countries itself will gonna decide that how much of greenhouse gas will gonna reduce. Okay, this is called as nationally determined contributions. So in their NDCs, countries communicate action they will take to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions and also to adopt climate change in order to reach the goals of Paris Agreement. Okay, so they will gonna match the Paris Agreement. How much we have to reduce? So if China is emitting so much of greenhouse gases, how much it has to reduce? And if the country like Bhutan is not emitting so much of greenhouse gases, how much they have to reduce? So like it depends on country to country. Okay, tracking process. With the Paris Agreement, countries established and enhanced a transparency framework under ETF. Okay, so ETF means enhanced transparency framework. Under starting in 2024, countries will report transparently on action taken and climate change mitigation adoption measures support will provided or received. Okay, so there are so many things in Paris Agreement. Whenever the time permits, definitely we're gonna discuss about this Paris Agreement. Next topic is hyperscale data center. Yetta Devon is the India's first hyperscale data center in Greater Noida, Uttar Pradesh. What is this Yetta Devon? This is a data center where we're gonna connect so much of switches, routers, all these things so that we can easily maintain the data. So there are 6 data centers which has been planned in Greater Noida. So the hyperscale data center was developed by Yetta Infrastructure, an arm of the Iran Adani Group. Okay, Yetta Greater Noida Data Center Park also set up in Greater Noida. Okay, this has been located in Greater Noida. This is what important. Okay, the shining star of digital India. So these are the people who will gonna attend this meeting. Is it important for UPSC and KPSC? No, not important. Okay, next is UNEP Adoption Gap Report 2022. Report the Adoption Gap Report 2022. So they may ask for the theme. What is the theme? Too little, too slow. Okay, so climate adoption failure puts world at risk. So this is the theme of Global Adoption Report 2022. Too little, too slow, climate adoption failure puts world at risk. Released by the UNEP. Who will gonna release this adoption gap report? Means UNEP, United Nations Environment Program. Okay, they will gonna release this report. Okay, to provide science-based assessment of the global progress on adoption planning, financing, and implementation. It recommends measures that can further the national and global adoption efforts and provides in-depth assessment of various topics of interest. Okay, now let us see what is adoption and mitigation. Adoption is adjusting to the damage of climate change. Okay, after effects. Okay, this is after effects. So this is before effects. Mitigation is the control measure against climate change. Okay, so this is adoption is adjusting to the climate change. So mitigation is the control measures of the climate change. After effects and before effects. So where is this UNEP located? So headquarters Nairobi, Kenya. It has been located in Nairobi, Kenya. Next is what is adoption and mitigation. Okay, you can look it over here. Adoption means the variety of action that are meant to reduce or compensate or to adapt to the adverse impact that changes in the Earth's climate. Okay, so actions or changes in societal behavior taken to reduce or eliminate greenhouse gas is called as mitigation. Okay, so this is adoption, that is mitigation. You can see it over here. So in the picture, so what is adoption and what is mitigation, you're gonna have a very clear idea. Okay, so adoption is action, mitigation is action to reduce emission that cause climate change. Okay, so action to reduce emission that cause climate change is called as mitigation. Okay, so adoption is action to manage the risk of climate changes is called as adoption. So you can see it over here. So like sustainable transportation, energy efficiency, clean energy. Okay, all these are mitigation. So after effect, disaster management and business continuity, infrastructure upgrades, flood protection, all these are adoption technique. Okay, so energy systems, education, water conservation, natural environment, all comes under both adoption as well as mitigation. What the report says? The report says like this: current efforts are not sufficient. Okay, current efforts are not sufficient. This is what they are saying. So the global warming, the world is currently on track of 2.8% increase in average global temperature. The global temperature has been consistently increasing. So if you go with this phase, definitely we can't match to the Paris Agreement. Okay, over the pre-industrial levels of 1850 to 1900. According to researchers, if global warming is above 2 degrees Celsius, it could cause the catastrophic crisis. Catastrophic crisis means there might be a flood, earthquake, all these things. Okay, drastic changes in the climate, okay, is called as catastrophic effect. Over-Hauser magnetometer. What is over-Hauser magnetometer? First over-Hauser magnetometer developed by Indian scientists. Why this over-Hauser magnetometer? So who invented this? We're gonna see into this. See to it. So you can see it over here. This is the over-Hauser magnetometer. So over-Hauser magnetometer is a scientific instrument used to measuring the strength and direction of the magnetic field. That is what required. Okay, so use it to measure the magnetic field. Okay, this magnetometer is used to measure the magnetic field. Okay, this is what important. So geophysical surveys to look into iron deposit. So it is used to look into the iron deposits or minerals whatever there in the seabed. So exploration of shipwrecks. Okay, exploration of shipwrecks. So this is what a magnetometer use. So who has developed this? Alibag Magnetometer Observatory. Alibag Magnetic Observatory. They have developed this. This Alibag Magnetic Observatory is started way back in 1904. So where it has been located? In Maharashtra. Okay, Maharashtra in Alibag. It is located in Alibag, Maharashtra. It is under the administration of the Indian Institute of Geomagnetism. Indian Institute of Geomagnetism. In comment section, you may comment where is this Indian Institute of Geomagnetism located. Okay. Next is new species found, that is Indian black honeybee. Indian black honeybee. Right now we have 3 species of honeybee in India, that is Apis indica, Apis cerana and Apis caryophyllum. Okay, caryophyllum. So this caryophyllum is the new species which we have found. So Indian black honeybee or Apis caryophyllum was discovered in the Western Ghats. Where it is found? It is found in Western Ghat regions of Goa, Karnataka, Kerala and parts of Tamil Nadu. It is found in Western Ghats. That is what they're going to ask in the question. Recently we found Indian black honeybee. It has been located in, so we have found this species in Eastern Ghats, Western Ghats, Greater Himalayas, okay, Trans Himalayas. This will be the options. At that point of time, you should know that this has been found in Western Ghats. Okay, so why these honeybees are important? Because of its cavity. Okay, so cavity nesting honeybee. So what they're gonna do? So they're gonna pollinate on flowers or somewhere else, and they're gonna bring the honey. And with this honey, we're gonna sell the honey, and it will gonna contribute more to our Indian economy. So if there is 4,000 meters square of fruit trees, so if honeybee go for pollination, so it will gonna produce 14 kg of honey. Okay, contains 50,000 bees. In this area, it contains 50,000 bees. Okay, just a comparison. Okay, so if there is a colony of a small colony, so if there is 4,000 meters square of fruit trees, so it will gonna develop 14 kg of honey. So and there will be around 50,000 of bees. So exactly there will be 50,000 bees? No. Okay, so it is just an assumption. That's it. Okay. SpaceX Falcon Heavy Rocket. Okay, SpaceX Falcon Heavy Rocket. So which company has developed this? There is a company by name SpaceX. Who is heading this? So Elon Musk is heading this, right? So what they are doing? SpaceX launched the Falcon Heavy Rocket from Canadian Space Center. From where they have launched? Canadian Space Center in Florida. So they may ask, where is Canadian Space Center? Canadian Space Center is in Florida to send US military satellite into space. US military satellites into space. Okay. So Falcon Heavy is partially reusable heavy lift launch vehicle. This is what very important. Okay. So apart from this, remaining things are not so important for competitive exam. So like it is like India's GSLV Mark III. So you may notice here. Okay. So this is called as Dragon capsule. There will be first stage, second stage. Okay. And there will be 27 engines. All these things are there. So not so important. Okay. For competitive exams. State of the global climate in 2022. So what is the state of the global climate in 2022? So state of the global climate in 2022 launched by World Meteorological Organization. Okay. On November 6th. World Meteorological Organization on November 6th. Countries around the world are set to gather in Egypt on 27th United Nations Climate Change Conference. So where it has been holding, it is going to be held in Egypt, commonly referred to as COP27. As we have discussed at COP21, the Paris Agreement, in the same way, COP21 to be held in Egypt. After the historic 2015 Paris Agreement, keeping the Paris Agreement goal to a limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius within reach will require enormous acceleration of transformation across all systems of this decade. This is what they are saying. So they are going to meet this Paris Agreement. Okay, whatever we have done in Paris Agreement, we're going to meet that. Next is there are some articles, okay, in different newspapers. You can go through this. A gloomy postcard. In 2 weeks, nations are set to gather at UN climate talks in Egypt. Okay, so this is what they have mentioned. So again, they are talking about Egypt. Next is State of Global Climate Action Report 2022. They are talking about how they are going to reduce this greenhouse gas emission. So what is the status as of now? So apart from that, global greenhouse gas emission by sector in 2019. Okay, so if you see, so which sector is emitting more greenhouse gas? The first thing is energy, later agriculture, forestry, and other land uses. Next is industry. Next is transport. Next is building. Next is waste. Okay, so you have to know about this data. So which sector is emitting more greenhouse gases? Okay. Next is global greenhouse gas emission by sector in 2019. So like 2.1 to 2.9 degrees Celsius. It has been increasing from 2.1. It was previously. Now it has been increased to 2.9 degrees Celsius. Only 26 of 193 countries. Okay, 196 countries has been adopted this Paris Agreement. Out of that 196, 3 of the countries has been left. Out of this 193, only 26 countries has been agreed to set up their climate action, have followed through. They have followed through only 26 countries. How many countries have been followed means only 26 countries has been followed. Assessment of global progress toward 2030 target. None are on track to reach their 2030 targets. Okay, none of the countries are on track to reach the 2030 targets. Indicators of greatest concern. What are the greatest concern as of now? Steel making, use of gas, travel, forest, agriculture. Okay, so all these are not all these are affecting more to the global warming. Next is the bright spot. Okay, the bright spot is most of the countries are using batteries. Okay, electric buses. So it has been rapidly increasing. So purchase of electric buses are rapidly increasing for vehicles. So then getting on track by 2030. So many countries have said that we're going to keep in track by 2030, but whether it will going to happen or not, we have to wait and watch. Okay. Next is phase out coal power generation 6 times faster. So like coal has been reducing, using of coal has been consistently decreasing. This is what they are saying. Next is coronal holes. Next topic is coronal holes. This is also called as smiling sun. Okay, coronal hole is also called as smiling sun. So what is this coronal hole? Coronal holes are regions of the sun. Okay, coronal holes are regions of the sun surface where the fast solar winds are spotted out into the outer space. So whether the sun will gonna emit more temperature? No, it will gonna emit lower temperature. Okay, a coronal hole is a temporary region of relatively cool, less dense plasma in the solar corona, where the sun's magnetic field extends into interplanetary space as an open field. Okay, what is solar winds? So coronal holes generally discharge solar wind at a speed about twice the average. The escaping of solar wind is known as to travel along open magnetic field lines to pass through the coronal hole area. Okay, now let us see where this coronal area has been located. So you can see it over here. So this coronal hole has been located over here in corona. Okay, in corona part itself. The second part is chromosphere. This is called as chromosphere, and the inner part is called as photosphere. Okay, this is called as photosphere, and this you can see it over here. This is called as core area. So this is where radioactive zone and convection zones are located. So near to the sun, okay, there is a bright spot that is called as prominence. So these bright spots are called as flare. Okay, or these black spots are called as sunspots. Okay, so all this has been located in the sun surface area. Okay, this is about first week current affairs about geography, environment, and science and technology. So for more updates, please do subscribe to Siddaganga IAS YouTube channel. So if you want PDF of this, so just go to the description and click on the link. You're gonna get the PDF. Thank you.